A police recruit recently was asked during an exam, what would you do if you had to arrest your own mother? It didn't take him but a second to think about that. He said, I'd call for backup. In Canada, there's a new organization that's soliciting money from corporations to promote the benefits of a strong, stable, conservative government. The conservative voice bypasses financing limits faced by political parties, so say the left, and they're disturbed by this. You know what? So what? That's what I would say. The left does it. The right should be able to as well. And interesting enough, just 2 days after the election in Alberta, where the commies got in, several business people did get together and contacted me and said, would you be our voice? Because the politicians of the day, all they're going to do is squabble in the House, and we need to talk a little bit about what the left really means over the course of the next 4 years with regard to the next election. And I said, I got to think about that because I'm old and tired, and I'm not so sure I want to do that over 4 years, but I am going to give it some thought. And they are part of this group. They put their money together and they say, we need to tell people about us. That's not brainwashing, that's informing. There's a big difference there, because the left, they brainwash, they re-engineer, they social engineer, pick your verbiage, black crime facts that white liberal media people don't dare talk about. A viewer sent this to us, and there's no name on this. I'm not too sure who wrote it, but it's some pretty interesting stuff. And let me quote some of the things from it. We have checked it, the numbers seem to be correct. Despite the revelation that half of the officers charged in the death of Freddie Gray, that's the incident that led to the Baltimore riots, are black, the narrative that black people are being unfairly targeted by white police officers just isn't correct, because half of them, again, they were black. This has led to a divisive movement called Black Lives Matter. And black people in the United States are more likely to have confrontations, violent ones, with police officers than white people. Is that true? Well, hey, I guess it is, according to this, because they commit more violent crimes than white people per capita. 13% of the population in America is black, and they commit 52% of all homicides. And black criminals do 38% of the murders, compared to 31% of the murders by white people. And from 2011 to 2013, almost 39% of people arrested for murder, manslaughter, rape, robbery, assault, and so on were black. And that figure is 3 times higher than the black population. That would be the 13%. And if you account for black males aged 15 to 34, who account for about 3% of the population, well then, of course, the figures are much more staggering than that. Here's the final fact that the reader has, or viewer rather, I should say, has sent us. Despite the fact that black people commit an equal or greater number of violent crimes than white people, whites are almost twice as likely to be killed by police officers. I guess white lives matter. Good verbiage, don't you know? Okay, in High River, Alberta, Canada. A couple of years ago, the RCMP did some terrible things there. They broke into people's houses and they took guns. There was a flood going on, and they appointed themselves some superior power. They went in and acted accordingly, right? And now a commission has been done, a report, and it's come out. Not a whole bunch of solutions there, but certainly they have at least pinpointed the facts. And I wanted to share some of them with you. Their actions during this emergency between June 20th, 2013 and July 13th, 2013, so call it a 3-week period, I guess. The Commission's investigation examined the RCMP's forced entries of more than 754 homes, the unwarranted search of 4,666 homes. This starting to sound like the Gestapo in Germany. Kinda. Hey, there were damage complaints filed by more than 1,900 homes. The RCMP seized more than 600 firearms, and the seizure and destruction of between 400,000 and 450,000 rounds of ammunition that are privately owned by citizens. There's been no money sent to anybody. Nobody got a check in the mail. But I got to tell you, they kicked in doors, they searched homes, and they seized private property without warrants, and they did it for almost 3 weeks. Is that a wow? I mean, I'm almost bloody speechless, and that doesn't happen very often. Here's a bill that has now been, is up. It hasn't been passed yet, but they all think it will be. Republican State Representative Drew Springer of Texas wrote a bill that will give a free pass to people with a gun license if they're caught by airport security in possession of a gun. So often, and there's several stories here, but so often people, they mess up, they have a gun in their suitcase and they forget it's there and it's loaded and different things. I mean, I take my guns with me everywhere I go. I've never had that issue. You go up and they always say to you, do you have a gun? I have a gun. You just fill out the form. And just the other day I was in Calgary and I brought a gun from Calgary to Vancouver in WestJet, which I do often. Same old stuff. I walked up and they said, do you have a gun? Yes, and filled out a form. So I don't quite understand why so many people are walking through security with loaded guns on their person. In any event, y'all come back here tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.